It's alive. It's lock and load. Now,
Right on.
it's hell on walls today because the Democrats basically just throwing any anything that'll stick that says gun control on it up against the wall and pissing everybody off, and that's really hell on walls and gun owners. But so we thought we'd talk about that, and might talk about the Wheels, the Hell on Wheels show, but I'm the only one in the chat so far that's seen it. So let's see. First news item is 26 Democrats who participated in the gun control sit-in are gun owners. So they own guns and they're sitting in there protesting guns.
Oh, yes, that the hypocrisy.
Well, hypocrisy. Yeah, you need some hypocrisy to make your shit stick up against the wall. Um, and So I'm gonna screen share that map that we were talking about if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So if this is showing up, you can see if you're in a dark green state, you're really screwed.
If you look at the bottom, it says 2 gun law score 2 to 93.5.
Yeah, 100
Okay.
is super
Guess
strict.
where the 93.5 exists? The only 93.5 exists.
California.
Yeah, that's right. The People's Republic of California. So
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
Hawaii isn't all that much better at 73.5. But well,
no,
Kansas,
seriously, man, you have a lower score. New York has a lower score. Jersey has a lower score than us. We are
Jersey.
the absolute worst when it comes to gun laws.
Shit, you move to Kansas. Kansas has a 2. That means it's like they almost giving away guns there. So
It's better than Arizona. Arizona's got a 6.
6. Gee Webbs, you're lucky, man. But Florida's a 16. Mississippi has got a 4. Louisiana, well, if you don't mind being flooded by hurricanes and having your gun seized by FEMA, I guess they didn't count that, but that's got an 8. Kentucky, 8.5. But California sucks. Alaska's got a 7. So, it's basically. I don't think this map included Hawaii, the last law they passed in Hawaii, where they if you want to buy a new gun, you have to pay $75 to be put on an illegal federal gun registry, which is against the 1986 Firearm Owners Protection Act. It's a federal act, but the governor of state.
So, me living here in San Bernardino, California, I live in one of the most unsafe cities in the state of California, or in the country, actually. And I have the worst gun laws. Wow.
So
what does that tell you, folks?
It means you better lock and load.
Already did.
I know. Well, I'll do her again. It's every year. What happens is every year the politicians get together and they come up with all the most stupid gun laws they can possibly think of. And then they just throw them up against the law and try and get everybody to vote for them and try and get the governor to sign from them. And then they pat themselves on the back saying, look what we did. And Bloomberg probably sends them a check and Obama pats them on the head. And maybe one of them gets a, invitation to Washington or something stupid. I don't know what they give people in California.
They get money because they're greedy bastards.
Oh, well, yeah, check from Bloomberg. That'll do it. Money talks. But seems to me like it's just, it is hell on the walls, man. So if you're living in a dark green state there, you're really screwed.
It is the darkest green state of all the states.
Yeah, they make you eat green shit and then they paint your
Well,
state green.
they're always talking about going green out here. They're fucking really doing it too. That's what they get. They get shiny new Priuses.
Man, I don't know. Yeah. So, Hell on Wheels, if anybody saw it, Cullen Bohannon has sex with a Chinese chick on a table full of loose bottles of nitroglycerin. I guess he likes living dangerously. So
yeah, that's an understatement. Go ahead and go in depth into the episode, dude. It doesn't bug me. I'm still gonna watch it. So,
well, I mean, that was the best part. I mean, he has to fire his friend, or his friend who knows, he's the only person who knows how to make nitroglycerin. Has a family, and he doesn't want to blow himself up making it consistently every day because he knows that that's what will happen. He already lost his left eye when the guy who taught him how to make it blew himself up. So in San Francisco, and they're up at Truckee, and that's at a different altitude, of a certain level above sea level, and nitroglycerin has to be kept at its stability varies with atmospheric pressure, so it has to be kept at a certain temperature, and the higher the elevation, the lower the temperature it has to be kept at. And if it gets too hot, it will explode. And when nitroglycerin explodes, you don't want to be there. You want to be somewhere else. So, and they basically use it to blow through the tunnels so they can, the Central Pacific can catch up with the Union Pacific. And all this has to do with Thomas Durant's railroad bubble stock collapsing. And it was another bubble.
Speaking of that, the whole Brexit thing happened, and we're all still here.
Well, nobody else has left the EU yet. You have to wait for this. It's like one of those slow motion explosions. You have to watch and see who else leaves and what dominoes fall. They're not going to all. You didn't think they have a vote and the next day the world would just explode, did you? I mean,
oh no, but the way you were talking, I was like, once Britain left, I mean, Brexit actually happened. It was going to be anarchy.
Like, so you're blaming me that
tidal waves and hurricanes wiping out the land, people committing mass suicide, and it was just another day.
No, that's only on Matt's chat. But no, it's a slow motion explosion, dude. Yeah, many dominoes have to fall in a row. Other people have to pull out of the EU. Banks have to fail.
I don't know, man. I don't even see a fuse being close to being lit yet.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
pretty much, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. They pulled out. They're not renouncing socialism. They're reinstating their individuality as a country. It was nationalistic thought.
They don't want to be. They don't want people outside of Europe immigrating at will into Britain.
Yeah, they're reasserting themselves as an individual nation. They don't want people who don't live in Britain, people who don't give a shit about British people to make decisions about Britain. That's why they did it.
No, they also don't want people from Syria showing up, or from Lebanon, or from Turkey, or from Saudi Arabia showing up and applying for their welfare programs.
That's all part of them saying, "Hey, we're Britain. We're going to decide what's for us. You guys can fuck off." And that's what happened.
Yeah, and it's not over yet. It ain't over. I mean, look,
other countries may follow.
Well, it's not just that. Britain may break up. The UK is going to break up. Scotland wants to stay in the EU, so to do that, Scotland has to leave the UK. So if they're going to have another Scottish referendum, then David Cameron will have overseen the he'll be up there with Oliver Cromwell for having overseen the destruction of the United Kingdom, because Scotland leaves, Ireland leaves, and who else is going to leave the UK because of this? And then it's going to be one big mess, but it's going to be a slow motion explosion.
Well,
I mean, you saw the movie Force 10.
They want to go their own way. They want to stay with the EU. Well, just because they're small and they would be destroyed without Britain, or the EU. So they have to choose one or the other. And they're like, Britain's had a bad habit of fucking us over in history. So fuck you, Britain. We're going to stay with the EU. But what you need to look for.
Have you ever seen?
All these small countries are going to do.
Didn't you see that movie?
One of the more important countries like Germany and France are going to do.
Brian, didn't you see that movie Force 10 from Navarone, the second movie, where he sends them in Harrison Ford and Robert Shaw, is that who the actor's name was, in to blow up the bridge, but he just gives them a blow up the dam, but he just gives them enough explosions to make a small cracks in the dam, and it takes an hour for the dam to actually blow up. Well, and they thought the whole thing just was a big nothing.
It's all smoke and mirrors, dude. Just because
Well,
they're
the film was,
establishing their
but
nationality doesn't mean business is going to stop.
Business,
Commerce is commerce.
Britain
Money is
has
money.
a nationality.
People are going to stop making money off each other because somebody said, "Hey, fuck you. We're going to be Britain now. Okay, we're done. We're done with this EU bullshit. Playtime's over. Let's just do business." That's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, so far Spain hasn't had an election. They had an election, but they haven't invaded the Rock of Gibraltar yet. I know there's one of those parties in Spain wants to do that.
Come on, dude. Pick a country that matters. Spain, Scotland, Ireland. They're all small satellite
Spain
countries.
Is a satellite country. Ooh.
What has Spain done lately? Honestly, they haven't done shit. The people with the money, those are the people you need to look at.
That's
all the satellite countries, of course, they're going to stick around. You want to know why? Because they have to. They need the help. All the ones with the money, they're the ones you got to watch.
You watching the money. Well, that's a good policy. But I'm watching the money, and it's going to be one of those slow motion explosions that happens. Other countries are going to want to leave the EU, and it's going to be one of those slow motion explosions.
The EU is a pipe dream. There's no way in hell that was going to last forever. Hell, what it last? 20 years maybe? No, not even 10.
Well, without the United States back in Europe, I mean, Russia would just roll over the whole place with its armored divisions.
Well, I mean,
it's like the European countries don't want to spend any money on defense. They want, and they want to complain about America and except when they need America.
And you wonder why Britain pulled out of the EU. They're like, you guys are fucking stupid.
Well,
I'm out. I mean, seriously, that's what it comes down.
There's a lot of reason for them to pull out, but it's in the end, it was up to the people. And now the politicians who told them not to are like, saying, well, I don't want to be here anymore. Or it's, but the bottom line is historically, they'll be remembered for if the UK breaks up, these people will go down with Oliver Cromwell.
No, it's not going to happen, dude. It's not going to happen that way. I told you, it's about the money. Freaking, they're just going, hey,
what if they make more money?
Borders, we'll still do business with you, but our money is ours. These are our borders. We make our laws. You want to do commerce with us? Cool. We'll still do that. If not, whatever. We'll go someplace else. I mean, seriously.
Well,
nobody is going to go, well, you left us, so I'm not going to do business with you anymore. And then they're going to starve. It's not going to fucking happen. It's not going to happen like that.
So what is it going to happen like?
They're going to the EU is going to break up. It's going to, because it's a useless, meaningless nothing now. All it does is cause problems and cost money. So if anything, the destruction of the EU is a good thing. It'll help boost individual economies. And the people that are suffering for it are going to be people with no money to begin with.
And the people who are suffering for it will be if Putin decides he wants to grab some of Europe, who's going to stop him?
Dude, you are like so going way off track. Putin's not going to invade Europe because, like you said, it's not just because the EU is not happening doesn't mean there's not going to be a coalition of states or governments that would fight back.
Those not all of Europe couldn't fight a troop of Girl Scouts. I mean, come on. Who are you kidding? Without a few American armored divisions in Europe, they're, just a bunch of people living in the hills. I mean, they've got relatively minimal power.
This is all a money thing. This is about
right. Yeah, and
the nations establishing themselves again as individual nations. Not that Britain was ever anything but an individual nation.
Yeah, linked to it, but Russia has sanctions, EU sanctions on it. So what happens to those sanctions when the EU breaks up? And
the sanctions go away, and the countries decide whether they want them or not.
Right.
That's it. They're going to look at it and go, "Have they done anything really bad lately?"
Depends if you live in Ukraine.
Make a lot of money on it.
If you if you're a border state, if you live in Poland or Lithuania or any of the Baltic states, then you might have a different perspective.
Just because the EU breaks up doesn't mean the UN is going to break up.
Well, who gives a shit if the UN breaks up? I mean, the
UN is a coalition of nations and the military might behind the EU. I mean, not that it's anything without us, but still.
The UN is not a military organization. It's just a collection of diplomats in a building in New York.
Oh, God.
God can't save the UN. I promise you that.
Dude, I don't give a shit about the UN.
Neither do I.
The UN has troops. They have military. Okay?
The blue helmets?
I'm not saying they're any good, but I'm saying they got them. All right?
The blue helmet?
Which, again, is supported by us. Granted, cool, whatever. All right. My point being is the EU is absolutely fucking worthless. And it's not going to do any harm for it to dissipate. It's not.
Well, it's a trading bloc, basically, and they negotiated all these deals. The EU has a deal with China. The EU has a deal with,
So deals get renegotiated.
Yeah, but that's a lot of renegotiating for a lot of countries with a lot less power.
It's not like one person's got to go around and renegotiate all the deals for all the different countries.
You've got hundreds of people, thousands of people renegotiating every trade deal.
Whatever that happened, it happened way before the EU even existed. It's not a fucking tough thing to do. It can be done. Mm-hmm. It's about money, man. It's about making money.
Well, the Dow sure took a hit the last couple of days. It's down 1,000 points about. So, I think trillions of dollars just disappeared. Within 48 hours out of people's 401ks. That's not nothing.
No, that's not. That's a shitty thing.
Yeah, well, so it's going to be one of those slow motion explosions. You're just going to have to watch and see. But yes,
it ain't gonna fucking. I'm not gonna see it, dude, because like I said, I'm too broke to notice it, so it won't affect me in the slightest.
Well, I hope it doesn't affect you. But it's too soon to tell. It's too soon. I remember just watching when the first county that they reported on, the BBC went voted for leave in a big way, like 70-30, and then the price of gold just jumped like $100 or something in like 2 seconds. But the precious metals markets are too manipulated, and they're just locked in a price range, and the big banks are it's not subject to the laws of supply and demand like stocks and like the regular stock market is. It's just the price is set by banks and market makers. It's not set by people buying and selling at all. because that happens on exchange traded funds, which also are not subject to the laws of supply and demand or people buying and selling things. But anyway, it's getting back to the whole gun laws things. It's just, here in Hawaii, it's like we have, I think they passed, the governor signed 3 new gun laws and they all suck. And so I don't know, the chart that I'm screen sharing, I think Hawaii deserves a little more stricter rating than it is, but maybe they'll update it than just to 73. I mean, we can
I don't know,
still
man.
own
I think
30
all
round.
gun laws suck. Unless there are gun laws that say everybody gets a free AK, everybody gets a free AR, and everybody gets a free handgun of choice.
Well, yeah, like in Switzerland, you're required to own a gun, right? And they have like no violence or gun crime at all. I mean, in Switzerland, you're required to own a gun, part of the law, and there's no crime in Switzerland, of any significance, and then again in Honduras, where it's illegal to own a gun, like it's like the murder capital of the world. You kill somebody, they'll give you a traffic ticket for $50 or pesos or whatever. And you go to court, pay your fine. And I mean, that's Honduras, when they have where you're required to own a gun, like in Switzerland, there's no crime at all. So, gun control doesn't work. But, we still have these Democrats and politicians that think they can gain some political advantage by their donations or, to just pass every year. They pass the same crap and just throw it against the wall to see what sticks. And some years, shit sticks to the wall with enough hypocrisy and Bloomberg money, and pats on the head from Obama and the Clinton Foundation. Oh, God. And so...
Does Hillary offer up hand jobs?
He ought to, man. The way she's jerking everybody around. Yeah. I mean... it's hell on the walls is all I have to say. It's hell on the walls.
Yes, it is. It's hell on the walls. It's definitely not good.
Shit against the walls every fucking year in every fucking state. And obviously the greener the state is, the more, more the politicians want to pander to that shit. They think they gain some kind of political advantage by doing it, obviously.
It's more about money and power there too. I mean, that's my belief. I believe that all these anti-gunners are being anti-gunners because they're getting paid to be anti-gunners. In the political world, there may be a few zealots out there, but I'm pretty sure if they're getting paid tons of money to spew anti-gun propaganda, they're going to do it.
Yeah, living in a green state is like Colin Bohannon screwing the Chinese chick with a table full of nitroglycerin bottles. It's like eventually something's going to blow up in your face, So, and take important parts of you with it. So,
why even stress over it? If it blows up, you won't even feel it. It'll just be over.
Yeah, but I'm talking metaphorically about gun laws, though. Not nitroglycerin blowing up. But be a quicker way to go than this. Just watching them every year, they throw up this shit. And
I think gun laws are more like a log in a sawmill, just kind of whittling away, cutting off piece by piece.
Yeah.
So eventually, it's just nothing but the thin little boards that are easily broken.
Yeah. So it's like God save our sacred rights. It's like people don't think of the Second Amendment as a right. And I've heard every ridiculous argument. People who think that the Second Amendment preamble, the first part of the sentence cancels out the second part of the sentence, like as if, the federal or state militia, it's like the federal army, they didn't write the Second Amendment to give the army the right to keep and bear arms. The army is going to have guns. I mean, they're the fucking army. So people are like, well, what that thing was written so long ago when they only had muskets. And well, our First Amendment right to free speech hasn't been canceled out because they invented the internet, or we've got TV and radio. So like when you if you want to complain about AR-15s being more modern than muskets, then write us a letter on a quill pen and have it delivered to us by some guy on a horse, and then we'll talk to you about
Don't forget to sand the letter, let it dry, and then make sure you put a wax seal on it too.
And go to the post office and buy a stamp.
Wrote those when muskets were around. Well, back then muskets were the fucking AR-15s.
They were the shit. Hey, and there's a guy who's got a channel that I like, Madras Arsenal, and he's really into black powder guns. He's got a Martini rifle, and that was before even the Brown Bess, I think, Martini rifles. But yeah, it's getting really disgusting how hard it is to live in one of these, green states here. But let me go. It's getting too depressing to keep this thing screen shared. Let me go back to my Hell on Walls graphic because I like it. Right, there it is. But
there you go. That's not so bad.
Yeah, it's Hell on the Walls. We need a mate to clean the walls up. So if I can somehow manage to click on.
Did you put like a little fan in there, spraying crap all over, like, a wall next to Colin Bohannon?
Well,
so that's what happens when he hit his fan. When shit hits fan, it splatters all over the walls. So
yeah, let me just type something in the lobby. Let's see. I really want to go see Independence Day before Independence Day. I've got an American flag hanging out over my lanai since I think 14th. That was American Flag Day, and I've been left it hanging out there because it's just easier to leave it out till the 4th of July. And I like it. I feel patriotic. So, but anyway, the good part is we don't have to leave the EU. We can just watch what happens from a safe distance away, more or less. Of course, the whole world is interconnected by the markets, and but I've been watching the price of gold, and it's amazing, and silver, and it's amazing how range bound it is. It's like they set the price, and it doesn't hardly move all day during this mess. It'll move like, and then it just doesn't move all day. It's like locked. Those market makers don't let it move at all, and so I found that to be pretty damn amazing. So looking at the California gun laws. Okay, we were talking about this off air. A baseball team hosts Second Amendment night, invites guests to bring guns. I like that one. Let's see.
I think it's a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
They're trying to get all the Second Amendment people in one place so they can arrest them all.
And give them all poison hot dogs.
Or Ruffium or whatever. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, they're going to mess with the mustard. That's what they're going to do. Colonel Mustard did it.
All At the stadium with a hot dog?
Yeah, that's shocking. Baseball team invites guests to bring. Baseball teams in 2 cities touched by deadly gun violence are having special nights for fans, but the approaches could not be more different as one pays tribute to the victims and the other celebrates guns. Both drew sellout crowds. Barbara Cahill, head of Kalamazoo Strong organization, said the event was a testament to the strength of the community. 4 or 6 people killed in the Kalamazoo shooting massacre in February. Why have I never heard of this massacre? Were from the Battle Creek area, as well as 14-year-old Abigail Kopf, who continues to recover being shot in the head. Friday night, the Kalamazoo Growlers Stadium was the site of Kalamazoo Strong ceremony that remembered the victims and the 5 who died earlier this month when a truck crashed into a group of bicyclists. All right. North of Kalamazoo. Where the hell is Kalamazoo? I assume it's in Michigan, right? Yeah, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
There you go.
Both suspects in both incidents face multiple murder charges. In Kalamazoo, their survivors, family members, the bike group attended the game against the Green Bay Bullfrogs, which was preceded by a presentation of donations to Lori Smith, the mother of a shooting victim, Tyler Smith, and Tiana Carruthers, a survivor of the Kalamazoo shooting, which I have never heard of. Meanwhile, attendees at the Battle Creek's S.O. Brown Stadium were encouraged to bring firearms to the game as part of what the baseball organization is calling a Second Amendment Education Night, while the gun dealership that is sponsoring it is calling it Second Amendment Appreciation Night. Guns holstered on hips were as plentiful as hot dogs, pretzels, and beer, although anyone open carrying was not allowed to buy beer, according to stadium officials. There were reportedly no security problems. Of course not. Everybody was packing heat. Who's going to start a fight where like everybody is carrying a gun? All right.
Well, Thomas Jefferson did say an armed society is a polite society.
Bombers general manager Tony Eviano said ticket exchanges would be available for people who did not wish to attend gun night, and additional Battle Creek police and private security was allegedly in place. He said he never felt safer, but said he is not sure he will do it again next year. All right. That's kind of...
Probably got too much shit from local anti-gun crowds.
Yeah.
People are probably going, hey, probably not the best place to do that.
Right.
I disagree. I think it's a fine place to do it. And I think the fact that they didn't allow people who were open carrying to drink was probably wise.
Yeah.
But...
well, they could drink Coca-Cola or soft drinks.
Oh, yeah. I was referring... Come on, dude. I'm not saying they have to die of thirst. Obviously, you stated as you read it as people who open carry.
I know. I'm just, having fun because it's supposed to be a fun chat, dude.
I was trying to make it fun. You just shut me down.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't shut you down.
No, too late. Too late. You just made like perfect sense and shit and just totally destroyed my nonsensical argument.
Oh, okay. What were we talking about?
I have no fucking clue.
Okay.
Guns. You're talking about gun laws. That's it.
All right. So far, we have not passed any laws against 30 round AR style mags in Hawaii. So I figure before they do, I'd spend my Google money that Google paid me for my YouTube channel. They sent me $103, and I spent that all on magazines. The Lancer Advanced, the 32 round Lancer Advanced Warfighter mags, and the mail person still has them, according to the U.S. Post Office website. Out for
maybe
delivery
the mail
today.
person thought you were buying them a gift.
No, it says out for delivery still today. She's just being slow today. I mean, but yeah. So I got a bunch of those smoky translucent 32 round mags. They have like the metal top, the Advanced Warfighters, and the polymer translucent main body, but the Tavor likes them. They like that and the PMag Gen 3s. So I don't know. Maybe I'll use them. Maybe I'll flip them if Hillary gets elected. But since Google paid for them, I thought it would be a good investment.
Well, there you go. You put the money to good use.
Yeah. So I don't know if Night Strike is coming in. I see him in the gunchannels.com lobby. By the way, check out gunchannels.com. It's free to join, and it's a good place to organize to defend your Second Amendment rights and pick up a lot of good pro-gun memes around there, and talk to meet a lot of other people on YouTube who like firearms. Wow, it's like the walls have had a lot of shit thrown on them lately, and I think they're going to need to be cleaned.
Yeah, good luck at that. I mean, seriously, politicians throwing shit at the walls. Gun laws, anti-gun laws, shit, same thing. At the walls is just like living in a homeless community, a homeless shelter. Shit's all over the walls. It ain't never going away. Places are all fucked up. Bathrooms are backed up.
Yeah, Hawaii has the governor.
You just need to burn it down and start all over.
Hawaii has issued its fifth emergency. The governor of Hawaii has issued his fifth emergency declaration to deal with the homeless problem in Honolulu. It's like basically when I was getting, I had to take twice a week a bus ride across the really crappy Honolulu streets that are in such terrible condition. It's unbelievable. I mean, talk about bumpy rides. And there was basically it would be through these crappy streets with all the main parks in the center of town had just these homeless encampments with tarps thrown up everywhere, and police arresting some homeless people all the time, and there's just so many people just homeless sitting there, and so he's on his fifth emergency declaration in a row. And that's what you get when you have a Democrat-run state, and with no hope of any Republicans ever being elected in this town. Even the Republican Party here in Hawaii is just pretty much run by Democrats. But so that's why they keep throwing shit against the walls. They're throwing shit on the parks.
That sounds very California-esque.
Yeah. Hey, Night Strike, welcome.
Hey, I just got done with Match Chat, so I thought I'd pop in here. And I just wanted to let you know that, my heart goes out to you, man. I am sorry to hear what's going on in Hawaii. I mean, I thought we were just losing California. But no, it looks like we're losing most of, the far west of the United States.
Yeah, well, did you see the map earlier? Or if you can see it in the internal? That we had up for most of the time with all the green states, having their ratings of how strict their gun laws are.
Yeah, no, I did not see that.
Okay, can you see the internal with the NBC News? Here, I'll just put.
I don't see anything internally. So
okay.
It doesn't show it to people who join.
All right, give me a second.
But yeah, it's rough. You guys are getting it, and Heavy B mentioned this. Last couple of chats we were ragging on him for California, but it comes down to the point where maybe you have to go somewhere else to fight what's not working in your own state. Maybe you have to move to another state and try and fight it from there because you forfeit your rights if you stay in that state of which continually constricting all of your rights to where you have none.
Yeah.
And while G-Webs doesn't like that, but he believes that you should just go and just stay in the state and fight it and fight it and fight it. But
yeah, march on the state capital, but if it's like I can only just he lives in a free state. He doesn't know what it's like to live behind enemy lines.
Well, I'm from Arizona. I live in South Carolina, and our laws in South Carolina are not as great as Arizona's, but they're not as bad as California's. I mean,
South Carolina has a 16, so
we don't have open carry. Sucks. We don't have constitutional carry. Really sucks. But we do have concealed carry, and without a permit, you can carry your handgun or your rifle in your trunk or glove box as long as it's locked. It could be loaded too. As long as it's
There's a
locked,
link
you're good.
in the internal, and it's the third picture down on that. Well, it's a third graphic down on that web page that I just linked you on the.
You guys
internal.
can't even do that in Hawaii or California, so you know.
And
Yeah,
we
the
can
only
ride around
place
with
we
our
can go.
firearms in our cars if they're locked up. We just can't have them loaded. We're gonna have the
Yeah.
ammunition separate from the weapon.
Yeah, well, this is lock and load, so.
Yeah, but
And
in South Carolina, you're allowed to have your handgun loaded in the glove box as long as it's
Yeah,
locked.
here if you
Good.
do that, here they'll arrest you, seize your car,
Right.
and take your gun, and then you'll get your name in the paper, and it'll just say arrested for firearms violations, you know, in the police blotter, you know, and but anyway, so there it's a third graphic on that internal NBC News webpage I linked to you, but so. Yeah, all I can really do is join the national organizations that are effective, like Gun Owners of America or the Second Amendment Foundation or even the NRA. But you know,
I would join that NFA
Or-
organization, get them more money, so we could start trying to repeal the NFA.
which organization are you referring to?
It's that one of owners and collectors of NFA, and they're working to try and get the NFA repealed.
Oh well, maybe I'm not too aware of that one. It's not the Second Amendment Foundation, is it?
It's on Every Second Matters. Just look up NFA.
Oh yeah,
and-
that's G-Web's new. He's
Yeah.
really putting a lot of work into putting up a new Every Second Matters website. I've been hearing
Yeah.
about it, hearing him talk about it, but has he had like a big launch event for it yet?
Oh, no. He ninja'd it in there while people weren't looking.
Yeah. All
You
right. Well, I guess on the 2nd, we got July 2nd. It's coming up not too long. He's going to have a new show, and we'll probably all be on it and promoting it and talking about it on July 2nd. So,
Yeah. But it is up right now, and he
Mm-hmm.
does have it done for the most part. So if you want to find the groups that are trying to really help the Second Amendment, go there and join some of them. You don't have to join all of them, but join a couple of them to help them out, so that we can start fighting back. I mean, we
Yeah,
need to get the NFA repealed. I'm sorry, but I know we need to have our rights to own guns, but we need that NFA gone. I'm sorry, it's bad. It's more of a hindrance, and it's a taxation on a right that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, it's been stuck on the wall for too long.
I mean, that wall needs to be torn down. It's not stuck on the wall. That wall it's done. It's rotted. It's gone.
Well, you understand the theme is that people keep throwing gun legislation against the wall to see what sticks. Right?
Well, the wall is rotten. It needs to be removed. We need to repeal the NFA. Yes, we need to ensure that we can keep and own any gun we want. Period. Yes, that is also true. But the restrictions, I believe, are worse than the actual fear of getting all of them taken away. They're not going to take away all our guns, no matter how much they think they are. The issue is that's not going to happen because there's so many of them out there already. The real issue is making sure they don't restrict what we have now. Removing that restriction.
What we need to do is get a bunch of crates full of Mosin Nagants and like drop them from helicopters from a very high altitude on the state capitol when they're voting for this shit.
That might get us arrested. But let's,
I know.
maybe hold up a sign, a peaceful sign that says, "Give us back our gun rights" or something.
That would be almost too lame.
Well, you have to be that generic, otherwise, you
yeah,
get,
the goon squad comes and visits you. I got it. It's hell on the walls, man. It really is. It's hell on walls. So
it's hell on walls on the Isle of Hell.
this island isn't hell. It's just the politicians.
I beg to differ.
Ban your gun laws.
And an
What?
island that restricts your gun rights is hell.
Well, it's getting.
We got you on that one. Bird.
Well, what do
Heavy?
you want me to do? Argue for gun rights or something? Or,
Yeah, that's kind of like the whole point, isn't it? Like argue for gun rights.
yeah. Well, I'm not going to argue against them. So
I mean, that's the whole point of fighting the fight is to,
what is this bullshit I hear of? You have to pay $75 to register so they can put you in a national registry. What is that bullshit? That's taxing you for a right. A right isn't something you can be taxed for.
Yeah, I know. Well, they managed to do it anyway, so.
Also, Night Strike, you're not supposed to be fined for not being able to get health insurance, yet they call it a tax and it's all okay. So.
Yeah, South Carolina has a law against that, so we're good.
Well, all I can do is get on YouTube and bitch and moan about it, and hopefully other people will get on there and
more than that.
Bitch and moan.
You can fight the good fight, brother. Join those organizations.
I've joined every national gun organization there is.
Do it, man. Write those letters, send emails, make phone calls. Go out there, get a petition. Start getting people to sign off on a petition. Fight the good fight. You did it once. You got dirty. You got down and dirty when it came to making the mayor look like an ass. Do it again.
Yeah, it's getting up there. It's got over 3,600 views on that video of making fun of our anti-gun mayor for putting hookers on the government credit card.
Though, Heavy, I will take your words and shoot them back at you in California.
Don't you think I am doing it? I'm just going to be smart about it eventually and do it from another state, someplace free.
Well, Kansas has the best rating in the country, so.
Do they have?
But I don't know anybody in Kansas.
Yeah.
Do they have constitutional carry?
Well, I don't know, but it's a 2.
Yeah, that's the lowest. That's the lowest score for gun legislation.
Yeah, a 2. So.
And California is the highest. If you look at the chart at the bottom, it goes 2 to 93.5. Kansas is the 2. California is the 93.5.
Yeah.
Wow, Mississippi has a 4.
Cool.
And my SSI is SIPPI.
Arizona has a 6. Look at that.
Yeah, so those are some options of when you move to and get your aircraft.
Hey, what's Alabama?
Alabama, let's see. Arkansas is a
12.5.
That's not bad.
12.5.
And you guys are what, a 14 there?
I'm a
South
16.
Carolina?
16.
Yeah.
Florida's a 16.
Better than here.
South Carolina's a 16. Georgia's a 16. Tennessee's a 15. So Hickok 45. He's in a 15.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's in the patron state of shooting shit, so it doesn't really matter.
And Arkansas is a 12. Oh, I mean Arkansas. I always want to say Arkansas because of the way it looks.
It's
But yeah, and Texas is a 14.
Texarkana. Oh, that's like northeast Texas.
Texas
all
is
right.
only 2
We all
points
saw
below South
Smoking
Carolina.
the Bandit.
But there's nothing wrong with Smokey and the Bandit. Why are you picking on Smokey and the Bandit?
Well,
I don't
actually,
care
I saw
who you are.
something
You
that
can't
somebody
drive
just
that thing
stole
on my
beer.
highway.
Oh man, Smokey and the Bandits. That black Trans
When I get
Am.
home, I'm gonna punch your mama right in the mouth.
Jackie Gleason is a great actor. Well, Wyoming's a 5. Now in Wyoming, you can actually drink and in a bar while you're open carrying.
That's because they haven't caught up in time with the rest of us, and they think they still live in the Wild West.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a town there called Deadwood.
Yeah. That was an awesome show too, by the way. That was a sick ass show.
So Matt seemed to get into some trouble on his chat about some not watching Band of Brothers or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have never known he was a Pinko Tommy. I would have never known he was a Pinko Tommy.
He saw
he
the
owns a
Pacific,
shotgun.
which is good, but Band of Brothers was what started it all. And I was just so appalled because, yeah, I didn't own a shotgun until I was 32. Okay, but bad on me. But I own other guns before that. But here's the thing. I've seen Band of Brothers. I've seen the Pacific, okay? He has.
He's
He's
seen the Pacific twice.
But he hadn't seen Band of Brothers, which came out before.
I know, dude. I know.
So
I was
what?
so surprised.
What's the big
I was
deal
like-
about it?
Yeah, well, all those, fuck off or fuck you videos, they, like, PBR said, he's got no,
His
he just
American
lost it.
card
It
has
comes
been
from another. It's like dust in the wind because he didn't have his Solid Bandit Brothers card.
Wait,
We're
you can
being
get a card?
facetious, right?
You can get a card for watching Band of Brothers?
Yes, we
You're not a card-carrying member either? Oh,
No,
my
he's not.
God.
I've
Oh, my
watched
God. What am I
Band of
doing?
Brothers. I watched Band of Brothers.
I'm glad this isn't the McCarthy era. Otherwise, I'd be being brought in for being a communist because I'm associating with all sorts of known communists right now.
I'm not a communist. I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Okay. Well, then
I
you're a
haven't seen
card-carrying member then, damn it.
But I haven't seen. Well, I didn't get no card mailed to me when I saw it. But I haven't seen Pacific yet.
I'll email it to you.
Pacific.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Email me a card and Pacific. It's Pacific. It's not on YouTube. I think I saw them selling it at Costco, the DVD at Costco once.
Get it?
Well, I don't know if they still have it there. I think it was a long time ago. It was like a year ago.
You have a library?
There's this thing called the internet, and in the internet there's this thing called Amazon or eBay.
No, you don't even have to.
You can order it from there, and then you'd own them.
No, you don't even have to do that.
You know how much stuff I've been buying. I just bought a bunch of magazines. I just bought a whole load of crap from the canteen shop for camping out on my bug out location. And
you want to be an American or not?
Hawaii. Let me ask you this.
First, we have to survive the Brexit, motherfuckers.
Well, let me ask you this.
It ain't over until the fat lady.
It's already come and gone. It's already come and gone. Ain't shit gonna happen, dude. It was like a Y2K of Europe.
Yeah, well, Fox Company Prepping. Fox Company Prepping is gonna come live at your house.
Come on. No, you want to live in the People's Republic of California? Come on out.
No, well, I am coming out to see my dad.
Comrade, come join me here in the penal colony. It's okay.
Penal colony.
Penal colony is right.
The
Yeah,
California. I'm not. The California penal colony.
You don't need a card. You need like some striped prisoners' uniforms to wear in there.
Or I am the resistance. I am the underground.
Need medication.
You need me to bring you a bar of soap when I come visit California or something?
No, because then you want me to drop it, and that shit ain't happening. I am the resistance.
I just don't want you to smell bad because nobody in California takes showers because it's uncool.
Dude, I hate to break it to you, dude. That's I don't know where you're coming from, but
well, look at how green your state is. I mean, obviously,
I think
nobody's
that homeless. The stench of all the homeless people around you is getting to you.
No, that's mostly in Honolulu, not on the Big Island. But there's some homeless people around here. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, hey, it happens. Look, I live when it comes in a safety standards or whatever safety. Can't even think of the fucking right word right now. Brain farting. Anyway, 0 to 100. 100 being the best, 0 being the worst. San Bernardino's a 4. You want to come live in the ghetto? Come on down. Come on down to 4.
I've already
come on
lived
down
in
to 4, and then you'll also be part of 93.5, which is the gun control laws.
93.5. I thought that was a radio station or something.
It's called K. You're fucked.
Oh man.
Welcome to K. You're Fucked Radio, where we take away all your Second Amendment pleasures.
Okay, no, what I was going to get to before he went off on the whole California tangent, which, shame on you, Heavy B. Don't ask anybody to move to California. But Hawaii, is there a library near you?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of libraries these days have started renting, well, not renting, but letting you check out DVDs as well as just books and whatnot. You might want to check. They might have a copy of the Pacific on DVD that you could just,
I have to get through a bunch of
borrow.
homeless people camped out in front of the library, though.
God, Jesus Christ. Do you need a red carpet rolled out for you? And have them have police officers standing there in dress uniforms with swords.
You can't
I
use
just
Jesus
need to
Christ
let
in this
flamethrower
context because he doesn't believe in Christ.
Right, I'm Jewish. Christ was whether Christ rose from the dead or not. I'm Jewish either way. What's that?
I said, great. I didn't offend you then.
No.
You don't care.
So
All I'm
anyway.
saying is, dude, yeah, you could probably find them anywhere. Netflix probably got it. You can probably get it off Netflix, and if not,
they
their
have
website.
it. There's no doubt about it. They've got it.
Yeah, I mean, you may have to
I don't-
actually have them send you the DVD, but you know,
I've never signed up for Netflix, but you know,
you can sign up. They probably have a 30-day free trial.
I
membership
will
going
watch
on right now.
Pacific just to get you to shut up.
No,
But I want to. But I
Damn it.
want a fucking card. Somebody better email me a fucking card.
all you got to do is go to any set of bicycle cards, pull out the Ace of Spades. You're a card-carrying member.
It's exactly right.
Well, I think I used all the cards on my deck and my green tips video that I did. Viva Green Tips.
What?
But,
you threw them away just because you put some holes in them?
What's that? No, I didn't
threw 'em
throw
away?
away any of my cards. I got I've got a bunch of playing cards. I've even got some I forgot. Damn, trying to remember all the videos I made of some of the playing decks of cards that I've got. But if you actually check out my YouTube channel, if you were a card-carrying member, I've got a bunch of decks. I've even got a Ronald Reagan library deck of cards from when I was at the Ronald Reagan Library. They're like blue, and it's it's
Ooh,
on
fancy.
Air Force One, and yeah, it's got that same blue felt kind of package that you get when you buy a Silver Eagle from the U.S. Mint.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's got a case.
Yeah,
It's in a case. Outstanding.
but I'm trying to remember exactly what was it. Oh yeah, I've got Kabar playing cards too. I've got a video, September 14th, 2015. That I put out of my Kabar playing cards. The company that makes the famous knife. They also had some Kabar playing cards made up.
Are you trying to say K-bar?
Kabar, K-bar, whatever.
It's K-bar. There's
Okay.
K-A space B-A-R. And actually, I believe there's a little dash in between them.
It's called the hyphen.
Well, there you go. It's a hyphen. It's got a hyphen between it. Go correct me. Go watch Pacific before you talk to me about this stuff.
All right, been too busy watching Hell on Walls. Hey, Night Strike, did you watch Hell on Wheels last week?
No, I was too busy working on.
He bangs the Chinese girl on a table full of nitroglycerin.
I would do that too.
Yeah, well, the bottles are rattling around, and if
Yeah,
they fall
hey.
over the whole
Hey,
building,
at least you're gonna go out and feel good at the same time.
Yeah, you're going to go out with a bang, quite literally and figuratively.
Is that what they named the episode? Go out with a bang?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what the name of the last episode was. I can't recall off the top of my head. But I'm sure it has something to do with nitroglycerin.
Let the glycerin ride.
Well,
Sorry for hijacking your show.
what were we talking about?
In a way, you were right. It was called 61 Degrees.
61 degrees. Oh, right. Yeah, you can't get at the altitude of the Truckee is at in Lake Tahoe. That's how, if it gets over that temperature, nitroglycerin will explode. So they have to always keep it in like ice to keep it cool.
If you're hearing any clicking noises in the background, I'm trying to break in an AR-15 trigger because it was really, really stiff when I put it together. So I'm breaking the trigger in.
stiff
Oh, not
little
the trigger, but
Pull it
the
back out
safe.
and then put some lube on it and maybe use an SOS pad or Scotch Brite and smooth it all
It's
up.
the safety, not the trigger. Excuse me. The safety was really stiff.
Wasn't there a
Okay,
punk rock?
same
Wasn't there a
thing.
punk rock band called in Ireland called Stiff Little Triggers?
Right. Well, I got it now, so it's working fine. See, remember, I build my AR-15s. I don't buy them because it's actually cheaper to build them if you have all the tools.
I
And
don't
I do
even
have
have an
duels.
AR-15. I've got a Tavor. I've got a bullpup.
Oh, that's your problem.
I got a bullpup like a real Jewish person should have. Israeli rifles.
Well,
Is that why
technically,
they're going?
technically,
What's
if you were a real Jewish person, you'd have a Galil.
I've got a regular Romanian Wasser 10 that I
No, a
redid.
Galil in 5.56.
A Galil and 5.56. Sorry, I'll stick with my AK or my new CZ 527. And
But they took the AK and they made it better, and they made it Jewish.
you know you can't make a pig Jewish no matter what you do to it. So it is what it is.
So I will mention that to the next. I don't know anybody at IWI, but the whole point being is I believe it's supposed to be. It's manufactured by the Israelis, correct? And therefore, wouldn't that make it a good chance of it being a Jewish-made firearm?
What, the Tavor?
No, the Galil.
Well, the Galil is basically just isn't that like a version of the AK? That they just took it and the design and didn't pay Kalashnikov any money, right?
I don't know. It doesn't really look anything like an AK to me. I mean, it has a little bit of, like I say, oh, that's like a really distant cousin.
Remember, Kalashnikov himself never got any money for the rifles he designed. There was a company that took his name, but that was all honorary. He never made a single dime from the AK rifles.
Well, his corporation, Kalashnikov concern did, and he worked for the state, he was never a real general or anything either, but they gave him the title general. They made him a general.
Well, he was in the military at one point, though. So
yeah, but he didn't like command troops. Yeah, he was a tank mechanic.
Yeah, but he was still in the military. So
but he wasn't like a real general commanding troops, in the field with commanding an army.
No, but they gave it to him as an honorary thing because of
well earned.
Well, I'm willing to bet you that if he was walking around as general, it didn't matter who it was. If they were in uniform, they would pay him the proper respects.
Sure,
yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be allowed to command troops in the field and actually kill. But that wasn't what his expertise was.
At that point, he was retired, so he didn't have to.
Also, the whole fact of the matter that he invented the AK might have something to do with it. I think that probably gives him just a little bit of bonus on that.
He gets all kinds of bonuses, but he never commanded. He wasn't a general in the field commanding an army. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, so what? They made him a general. You still salute him or they'd hang you, so it's okay.
Right.
Well, they'd hang you for anything in the Soviet Union.
Or the Russian Federation. Take your pick.
Yep. Yeah, if it's just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Russia or the Soviet Union or Putin. Russia's basically right now a criminalized state, donating money through Canada to the Clinton Foundation. So this whole fucking thing is Bob's fault.
It is Bob's fault because he and his high powers, right?
He and his charity and anonymity laws,
His high power and his VZ-58s.
I've noticed something. Here's some tinfoil hat for y'all. Get them on, nice and snug. All right. The further north you go and the older you get, you end up buying high powers.
I've never bought a high power, but
you're like far south, dude.
Yeah, Yankee just got one like last week.
Yankees in Washington, right there, bordering Canada. I mean, and then you got Bob in Canada.
Yeah.
I see a connection.
Though, be honest, I would get a high point, but I'd get the double action, single action one, which is kind of rare.
You mean a high power? You said high point.
Oh yeah, high power. Yeah.
I mean, you go buy. I didn't know they made double action high points, but that's okay.
High
The
power.
Browning BDA is an awesome little gun.
That's the one I'd get, and I get it in 9mm because they did make them in 9mm. They're a little rare, but that's the one I would want if I was going to go out of my way to buy one. But I'm not going to get one right now because it's either I build up these ARs I've got and I keep them, or I trade one for an AK.
You don't have an AK yet?
No, I just have a
and you're
receiver.
giving me shit about Kalashnikov?
Well, no. We're giving you shit about not watching the Pacific and not being a true American. See,
Oh, you were talking about
he has
drills
an
a
AR,
minute
so
ago.
he's
Why don't you
American.
give these people shit, the 26 Democrats
Hold
in
on.
this gun control sit-in that own guns? You know, why don't we
Hold
give
on.
them some shit?
Just
26
because I have an
Democrats.
AK, I don't have an AK fully assembled. I just have a receiver. But I had to go and sign for it. I had to pay a transfer fee. Okay, so technically I do have one. I don't
Well,
like it. I don't want to have to build it, but I'm going to eventually. But here's the thing. I have an SKS, which is chambered in 7.62 by 39, so it's not like I
not
don't
an
have
AK.
ammunition for an
It's
AK
not an
lying
AK.
around, which I do.
It's not an AK.
It's better than an
well,
AK. It's more accurate.
An SKS is not better than an AK. That's why when they got done with the SKS, they threw it. Everybody switched to the AK. Nobody wanted a SKS
China
after
still
the
technically uses it in ceremonies. SKS.
Yes.
They use who knows what they use in ceremonies, but this is irrelevant what they use in ceremonies. They don't use it in combat.
Well, no. But whatever, it's all good. He's got a Comblock gun. He's got 2 Comblock guns.
Yeah.
One's built, one's not.
Here's an interesting article. It says
I have no Comblock gun.
the EU is the Titanic and the Brits just jumped into a lifeboat.
Well, the UK Independence Party leader just yesterday, I think it was, he went out and said on the record that he wants England to get their handgun rights back.
Good luck on that.
I know, good luck on that, but they're halfway there. They're getting out of the European Union. They may be able to get that back too. Who knows?
It never happened. Unfortunately, for all my
I
friends.
don't know,
in the UK.
dude. With the way the world is now.
If those terrorists start attacking everyone, more.
I'm afraid they're going to have a lot of people like Fox Company prepping with just attack with frying pans when the because I don't think. I mean, yeah, it's like in Britain, they tell the army guys not to wear the uniform off of the base because they don't want to offend any of the Muslims that live there. Literally.
Yeah,
They can't.
Why would they be
probably why
offended
they
by-
pulled out of the EU, because I think that was an EU thing.
It's just. It
Why
just
would they
makes you
care?
want to. I don't know why the army doesn't go up and just beat up the politicians over there in the UK for that shit.
Well, I don't know if it's so much as they don't want to offend them, offend the Muslims.
Is that they're
I
not
think it's
allowed
more-
to?
I
The
think
army's
it's
not
more
allowed
of
to
a
carry
safety
guns.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
the
more of a
army's
safety
not
thing.
allowed to carry a sidearm for self-protection, so they don't want to be beheaded by some local Muslims with a butcher knife. So because it happened once before on live TV, so while everybody was standing around, some soldier got decapitated or something in Britain, by some crazy ass ISIS terrorist motherfucker, in Britain. So I don't know what the world's coming to nowadays. It's but they keep throwing shit against the wall, and it's hell on the walls, and it's hell on the people, and it's hell on guns too. So all I got to say to everybody is lock and load, and make sure before Hillary gets elected, you got your shit straight. You get your shit screwed on, you got your head screwed on, your shit straight, and that you can lock and load, because it's just
Okay,
gonna
so
be hell on the
get
people.
our shit screwed on and our head straight. Gotcha.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, how do they put it in the Marines?
What, locked and cocked, ready to rock?
All right, there you go.
Now, you said something about lock and load, right?
Yeah.
Lock and load. Okay.
Oh, okay. Is that your shotgun? Is that your?
That's my
100
SKS.
Oh, that's your SKS.
Oh, the
That,
SKS you.
that's
You got
my
SKS rolled, motherfucker.
that's my military surplus SKS.
Don't make me go upstairs and get my AK. Next week, I'll have my AK out, ready to rock out with my AK out. Next week. But
Which I found out, I kind of got my SKS just fixed a little bit. It still won't do steel, but it will do brass ammo just
it
fine.
won't do
so
steel?
No, it won't do steel for
Jeez.
some reason. Steel, I guess it's because I've been using that steel polymer stuff, with the polymer coated steel, and it keeps getting the steel casings get stuck in it. But
Yeah,
I ran
was hearing you talk
I
about
ran
that in the lobby.
a full magazine full of brass, just fine, no hiccups, no nothing.
Well, I know that my CZ527, they specifically made it so they could handle anything, so, but I just got the loopy mounted, scope mounted on there a couple days ago, and talked to Loophole today, and anyway, I can't wait to get out shooting with it. I'm ordering some steel from a Sportsman's Guide and some other stuff to add to my, I bought a bunch of stuff from the canteen shop too, so I'm ready for my bug out situation. Will be when the shit really goes bad. I'll be ready. Of course, by the time that happens, California will have fallen into the ocean. So I don't know. It's hard to.
No, we're gonna break off from the mainland and come take your ass over. We're gonna
It's too
float
late
over
for
to you.
California, my friends. Come further east.
The tiger sharks will get you halfway.
No, we're on a big chunk of rock, dude. We're just gonna, we're gonna use plate tectonics to move us over that way.
Rocks don't float.
Rocks don't float.
float.
And neither do mares in Hawaii.
No, but if you notice, it sticks up above the water, so it's just going to use plate tectonics and kind of crawl over there, and then it's gonna eat Hawaii. California is gonna crush and eat Hawaii. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I forgot to take my meds today. No, I'm just playing. I don't take meds.
Well, I thought we were still wearing our tinfoil hats.
Oh, that's what it was. My tinfoil hat chin strap was too tight. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There you go.
Where's my? Here it is. How about this screen share? Let's see. AK-47 Union Local 808.
Is that your area code?
Yeah, that's a Hawaii's area code for all of Hawaii.
Don't let Rob Ski see that. He'll get mad. It's kind of copyright infringement almost.
Almost, but not quite.
Almost.
Well, I don't think I'll get too much trouble for that, but I'm not selling it or anything, so. All right, I'll take it down.
So, Heavy, you're doing your show this weekend, right? Or this week?
Yes, this Friday.
Friday?
I will be doing
All right,
my
awesome.
show.
Yeah, Friday Night Sights on Heavy B Channel on gunchannels.com.
And on YouTube and Google Plus.
And you guys are going to be able to make Hit or Miss tomorrow night, right?
Absolutely. What's your show going to be about tomorrow?
I have no idea, so, if you guys figure out something during the day or you see something that, you want to talk about, just let me know ahead of time and we'll just talk about it and then go on to whatever else, just,
Well, hey, yeah, I only came up with...
Well, just a quick thing real quick. For all those people out there who are going to watch Friday Night Sights, don't look it up under Heavy B because there's like 18 billion evidently wannabe Heavy Bs out there. So just look up Friday Night Sights. It should pop up to my channel. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, and then I'll see you guys there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's like a lot of punk rock bands or something called, not punk rock, rap bands called Heavy B or something, That's like.
That's why I told you to rename it.
But,
That's why, Heavy B, I told you to rename your gun channel to like Friday Night Sights.
No, it's Heavy B. It's going to stay Heavy B for continuity. I thought about it. We're just going to leave it alone.
Continuity. Well, there's a lot of
What's
good
that?
reasons, but continuity is continuity.
I'm being facetious.
But I don't know.
I would say more sarcastic or sardonic, but
you
hey.
do whatever you want.
Take your pick.
Quick! Somebody else use a $5 word. Come on, jump in.
$5 word. Do words cost $5? I thought vowels can cost $5, but
Hey, did somebody lose your sarcasm chip? Because you need to buy another one and insert it, dude.
well, my whole laptop's so old. I don't think anything works in there anymore. But,
I'm gonna start calling you Data from here on out.
No, he's not straight faced enough for that.
I don't even know if you got the reference. Did you ever watch Star Trek Next Generation?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
You
I
got
just
the
watched
reference.
Into Darkness was on the other night. I watched some of that before I fell asleep.
Oh, he's got you there, Heavy.
Not really. That was a good movie. But he
It's an
fell
okay
asleep
movie.
during Into Darkness? Well, I guess if you watch it a bunch, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the watch over. Is there a new Star Trek movie coming out?
Yeah, but it's based on the other one, the other new ones they've done.
And
It's
the
not-
Chekhov,
That's actually
Chekhov
kinda cool.
died.
the Chekhov actor died. Who's playing Chekhov? So
Yeah, he got ran over by his own car.
yeah, that's a sad story. In Encino, had
Yeah, he
Brian
went to go
in
get the
front of him.
mail, and his car just, I guess the emergency brake or whatever didn't work, and then rolled back and...
Well, they can always try and write in Walter Koenig back into it. He's still around, isn't he? Old guy in space.
They'll probably just have a guy who looks like him play the Chekhov part.
Or what they'll do is that guy was an imposter, and the real Chekhov is like somewhere off.
Get Vladimir Putin in, and that'll save the franchise.
Vladimir Putin
as Chekhov.
as Chekhov. Wow.
Yeah,
I
that's what we
don't
need,
think
is an
so.
evil son of a bitch bastard as the navigator.
They need to bring back Sulu, the original Sulu, and put him in there. I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh,
Comes out on the bridge with a walker, you know.
Well, Sulu was the guy that actually had like a sword and got into a sword fight in one
Right.
episode.
Yeah, he was the Asian guy, so they stereotyped him as doing martial arts, but they left out the fact that he's gay.
And he didn't know
But
anything.
that would work good in today's time and age. The millennials appreciate that.
Well, but he didn't know any martial arts.
just like most Asians that live in the United States.
That's actually kind of like the whole Pat Morita thing for the Karate Kid. He doesn't know anything about karate, and he taught the Karate Kid in the movie. Whack on, whack off, that kind of shit.
I think it was wax on, wax off. But
You got your version, I got the truth. All right, just let it go.
I can't let that go because that was a good movie. Because do you know why? Because you're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down.
Who is? Ralph Macchio?
Yes,
That was the theme song.
that was the theme song in the movie.
You actually remember the theme song to that movie?
I've seen the movie like 100 times. Yes.
In the
I've
last
seen
week,
it 100 times. Well, that's
No,
the
not in
problem.
the last week. I just know.
Instead of watching Band of Brothers for Pacific, he's had this,
I have them all on
Karate Kid
DVD.
on loop. But he's had this thing on loop.
No, I just remember the song, the memorable songs from the 80s, okay?
he downloaded the soundtrack and plays it in his head.
Memorable
in his iPod.
song. What is the name of the song again?
You're the best.
You're the Best is the name of a song.
It's
From the
probably
80s?
called the Karate Kid theme song.
You weren't around in the 80s. You weren't old enough to be alive.
I was born in 83, so I was
well,
around.
So you were 1 year old during the time that all this shit was released. So
So that doesn't mean it wasn't still there when, I was old enough to
You
understand it.
dancing to the Go-Go's or X or the Dead Kennedys back in the 80s because you're only 2 years old,
Yeah.
Well, not to mention they all kind of suck too.
X? The
I'm
Dead
just fucking
Kennedys?
with you. I'm fucking with you.
California, Uber Alles. Anyway, I don't want to start singing. So
I don't think you want to sing that part because that's German, and Uber alles, actually, it's what the Nazis used.
yes, I know, but the song is a reference to Jerry Brown being the governor and running for president and taking over the world. Which is, I guess, is
It's
what
actually kind of fitting.
Yeah, it is. It's fitting for Hell on Walls because Jerry Brown is Hell on Walls. Probably smoking pot in the governor's mansion right now while he's figuring out what new gun control shit he can pass
Actually,
how to
Jerry
help
Brown has actually fought against gun control.
Hillary. He's
Not all
probably
of
going to
it,
help.
but some of
He's
it.
campaigning for Hillary Clinton, isn't he?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not
Well,
going
yeah,
to
so
sign the
he's
bills
like
when
a-
they come in, but there is a chance. It's about as good as getting struck
He's-
twice by lightning within 5 minutes in the same spot, but there's a chance, damn it.
And
Anybody
attacked
that
by a
votes
bear
for
at the same
Hillary is
time.
an enemy. I just thought I'd clue you in on that. You have a problem with enemy identification. If they want to vote for Hillary, they're the
I do
fucking
not
enemy.
have a problem with enemy identification. I'm just trying to be blindly optimistic at this point. Fuck. It's
Blindly
93.5. California's 93.5. Do I gotta say anymore?
You're in the 93.5 state. I need to get you a T-shirt that says
You can dream
93.5.
about money and votes and all that crap. I just want to dream of a free California.
Yeah.
Of course,
All
I'm
I
gonna
have
be-
to say to that is, I'm in a 16 state, but what state is what's Hawaii's number? Let's go look at Hawaii's number.
73. I think it was 73 or something. like that.
73 and a half.
73.5.
Yeah,
73.5.
It's not 95.
16, 73.5.
Hey,
16.
we're not a 95 either yet. I mean, once Gunpocalypse passes, we're probably going to be a 100. But I mean,
Yeah,
until then, I still have a little bit of freedom. I still have a little bit.
Technically, I have more freedom than both of you. Period.
Fuck off.
That's what we get when we
Well, I
have someone on the
guys-
chat who
Your level of
listens to
freedom, Night
Ralph
Strike, your level of
Macchio
freedom-
music.
Your level of freedom is lower than the difference between Hawaii and California. You live in a 16. It's a 20-point difference between California and Hawaii.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't have to have a registration card.
That's what I'm saying. Is
I don't have a
you're free
registration
for the difference
card.
between our two states.
Oh, guys, come on. Let's
I'm
not fight
actually-
about this. Why don't you
I
guys just
wasn't
come down to
fighting.
South Carolina and, just chill here with me, and we'll all go shoot guns. It'll be fine.
Oh, that sounds like a plan. Hawaii, pack up their shit. Night Strike's paying. We're gonna fly
Oh, he's
out.
paying
We're gonna
too.
live- Yeah, we're gonna live at his place. He's gonna pay all the bills, and we'll be
Oh,
free.
man.
We'll actually literally be free. We'll be living free for free.
Like,
No,
dude,
that's
I'm
all
gonna
good.
come visit my pop in August, and we can go shooting in California.
Yeah,
First.
provided Gunpocalypse doesn't pass.
We can
Even
go
if
shooting
it passes, we can
or
still
not.
shoot guns. I mean, like, bolt actions and lever actions and pump actions and 22s are all still going to be good.
You hope.
No, they will, because they're only going after semi-autos right now.
But 22s are semi-autos.
Not all 22s are semi-autos.
No, my dad's
For
got a
one.
Henry
Two,
22.
they specifically state center fire cartridges, not rim fire cartridges.
Yeah, but if you want a 22 long rifle handgun, if it's not on the DOJ list, you can't have it.
A 22 hand rifle long gun? What's a hand rifle long gun?
A 22 handgun.
I think he was dyslexic in hearing what you said, but that's okay. No, there's plenty
A
of
hand
22s
rifle.
in California you can buy. I mean,
My dad's
22.
got a Henry 22 lever action that he likes.
But that's not a 22 hand rifle long.
I don't know
gun,
what the
whatever
hell
you
he
said.
was talking about.
22 LR handgun. Okay, because
Oh,
that's
there's plenty of
the,
those
that's
out
the technical definition of 22. It's 22 LR.
That's a
Actually, that's being a roundist. You're neglecting the other 22 caliber rounds, like 22 CB, 22 short, 22 long, 22 Magnum.
22
Yeah,
Hall
yeah,
Plus.
yeah.
That was a trigger. I need my safe space.
All right, so everybody throw something against the wall so we can end this chat. Let's see. Here we go. Wait a minute.
I would say this whole chat's been thrown against the wall, but that's okay.
But that's okay. Look at the name of the chat. Hell on Walls. So
Yes.
we've
just
totally
threw something
bulldozed
against
that
the
wall
wall.
down. We're tearing walls down.
Yes. Yes.
And I really want to meet the people who think we're being serious. So, I mean, we are somewhat in some areas, but guess. That's the question. Can you guess?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
all right. So. Oh, great.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go on. Just send Matt a quarter and say on that note.
Send Matt a quarter. Send who a quarter?
Matt,
Why would I
send
send
Matt a
Matt-
quarter.
For what?
Because he always says on that note in his podcast.
Oh, well, I haven't ended it yet.
Well,
I
you were
figured it'll
talking
just
about it a
blow up
second
all
ago.
by itself the way it's going. All right. So is anybody getting ready for the end of the world, or are you just have you figured out that nothing bad will ever happen because of Brexit?
Brexit, nothing's going to happen with Brexit, dude. I mean, seriously, it was supposed to be tornadoes and hurricanes and tsunamis and mass destruction and people running off the cliffs committing mass suicide like lemmings and financial ruin and starvation and fire and brimstone everywhere.
It
And
takes time. It's like a slow motion explosion.
I mentioned this on Match Chat, and here's something you might want to take a little bit of stock into, but not really. The companies that are going to be affected by this, the stock will go down in Europe in those companies. Might be good to buy some of those because they may go back up even higher than they were before. The same thing can happen also in England after during this whole situation. So who knows, if you're really ballsy and you're really risky, you want to risk it, buy stock in Europe companies that are affected by this and buy stock in English companies that are affected by this, and who knows, by the time it all blows over, they both may have tripled or doubled, and you'll have made more than your money back.
that is a really cool
bad
idea, kind of, but I think it's kind of naive to think that all those companies weren't prepared for this.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, I know, but that's the whole thing. That's really all that's going to be affected by this.
It's people's 401ks getting slammed that has been affected already so far.
That's the market fucking with people and people using that as an excuse to rob.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bullshit.
They don't need an excuse.
Dude, come on. They're just taking a page out of Enron. All right?
Enron.
I
Give
do
me a
not
fucking
recall.
break.
Enron was a financial company that
Fraud.
was responsible for a bunch of 401ks.
Fraud.
A lot
It
of
was
people
fraud.
lost millions. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
Out and out fraud.
Yes, I know, and that's exactly what they're doing.
It had nothing
They're
to do
just
with
covering
anybody
it up.
voting for anything.
Heavy B.
Nobody
you
got
didn't
to
catch
vote.
that.
God,
That was my joke.
People are going to take advantage of some shit going, hey, here's a chance, everybody's panicking, here's a way we can steal a bunch of fucking money and not get caught. You don't think people think that kind of crap? Seriously?
Heavy B. My thing of saying I do not recall was me making fun of the CEO because he was on trial, and his words were, whenever they asked him a question, I do not recall.
That's true. I do remember that.
I've watched that, and I remember that, and that was me just making a joke at Enron's expense.
Anybody who takes any financial advice from this show ought to have their brain examined.
Especially when it comes to buying gold and
Well,
silver.
no, hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second. If these people are
I
willing
buy
to
silver
invest,
doesn't. Just because I buy silver.
if these people are willing to invest based on our word, I just got to say, okay, I'm going to set up a Patreon account or a Kickstarter. You guys dump all your money into that, and everything will be just peachy for me.
Yeah, we're calling it the California Refugee Relocation Program.
Yes. You know, I really ought to form one up just to be a dickhead and see what happens.
You see, the initial thing is to get Heavy B out, and then what we're going to do is we're going to find candidates that are in California that desperately need to be, for lack of a better word, airlifted out of California, and we're going to use this program to fund getting them out.
I think we could get more people out if we just gave them gas money to drive out. California's not that big. You can drive out of state fairly easy as long as you go from west to east. If you go north to south,
if you go down to Arizona, you'll be fine, Tevi.
Oh yeah, well,
go down to Arizona. That's it's closest to you.
Well, Arizona, Nevada, they're both good. They're both fairly close.
I think Arizona's freer.
Yes, it is.
Go to Arizona. That way you can go meet G-Webs.
Oh yeah, I think I would be like Bob going to see Good Guy with a Gun. I think G-Webs would run and hide from me.
No, G-Webs would come out with his AK-47s and say, "Da, welcome, comrade. It's time to shoot guns."
That doesn't sound too bad.
You know, because you saw those videos of Bob and G-Webs shooting G-Webs' AKs.
Yes, that was actually pretty funny.
All right, I thought I'd end the show by dangling some gold in your face.
Ah.
So. Silver.
I was gonna say that's silver. That doesn't look like gold.
Well, there's a gold coin right there at the bottom. The buffalo.
Oh man.
I got a gold 200th anniversary Marine Corps coin.
Awesome. Well,
And
anyway,
a 225th anniversary one
so
too.
this has been another wonderful episode of Lock and Load and throwing. It's been hell on the walls, but everything else is hanging on okay. So y'all come back next week and we'll try and think of something intelligent to talk about.
And don't forget to catch us on Hit or Miss tomorrow night.
Yeah, hit or miss
I
tomorrow
really
night.
get on the intelligent things to talk about. There.
Well,
Or it
we'll
might be
find
an
something to
intelligent topic,
talk
but I don't know
about.
if I'll be intelligent.
That's okay. Well, we're working on that operation. As soon as we have to get you out of California, then we can work on that. And
Well,
so,
you could also start a Hawaiian refugee relocation program too.
yeah, that's
too.
next.
Two
But
as well. Two also.
Well, we got
Something like
to
that.
get Hawaii to agree that he needs to relocate somewhere nicer and somewhere where they.
nicer.
Oh, he's like, I'm in paradise. I don't care if I'm a slave.
Yeah,
I ain't no slave, motherfucker.
live there for a few more years and see what happens.
Hey, live free and die hard. So live free and Brexit hard if you're in Britain. But we'll see
The
how it
Brexit
goes.
club.
And good luck to all my bushcrafting friends over in the UK. Hey, God save our sacred freedoms. See y'all next week, people.
Bye, Felicia.
I was gonna do
Well,
it, but then I was like, no, I only use Bye Felicia on Hit or Miss.
We're still